All right, welcome back, everyone. So, seems like a lot of you were really interested in getting a bit deeper into crypto investing,
Yeah.
specifically Bitcoin versus altcoins.
Yeah. A lot of questions coming in about
Yeah,
them.
tons. So that's what we're going to be doing this deep dive. We want to equip you all with the knowledge to confidently navigate this crazy world.
It is exciting though, isn't it? I mean,
Full loop.
there's so much potential in this space.
It is, and I think it can be confusing for people who aren't, really in it every day.
Right.
And so, are you looking for that digital gold safe haven thing? Or are you more into the high risk, high reward altcoin world?
Yeah, that's a big question for a lot of people.
Huge. So that's what we're here to kind of break down. We'll explore the origins of Bitcoin, get into the technology behind it, the blockchain.
Yeah, that's the revolution, right?
I mean, it's
And
crazy.
the thing that changed everything.
Yeah. And then from there, we'll compare that to the altcoin universe.
Right, because there's just so much variety out there.
There is. It's nuts.
Thousands of them.
And then we'll look at the arguments for and against each.
Exactly, the pros and cons.
By the end, you'll have a better idea of how to approach this whole thing. So let's start at the beginning, right? With the granddaddy of them all, Bitcoin.
Good old Bitcoin.
Created in 2008, and I love this part, by the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto.
Still a mystery.
Still nobody knows who it is.
It just adds to the intrigue.
It really does. But even more fascinating is that underlying technology, the blockchain. Can you break that down for us a bit?
Sure. So imagine a public ledger, right? But it's not just any ledger. It's decentralized, which means it's not controlled by any single entity.
Okay, so no bank, no government.
Exactly. It's spread across a network of computers all over the world. Every transaction is recorded on this ledger, and everyone on the network has a copy.
So it's completely transparent.
Completely. And once a transaction is recorded, it can't be changed. It's immutable.
Wow, that's a pretty radical departure from how our traditional financial systems work.
It is. And that decentralization, that immutability, that's a huge part of why people are so drawn to Bitcoin.
And Mike, it's called digital gold, right?
Exactly. Like gold, Bitcoin has a limited supply. Only 21 million will ever exist. And that scarcity, combined with its decentralized nature, makes it very appealing as a hedge against inflation.
Okay, I get the limited supply part, but why is Bitcoin seen as a better store of value in today's world?
Well, think about gold for a second.
Yeah.
It's been the go-to safe haven asset for centuries, right?
Right.
But it's physical.
Right.
You have to store it, protect it. It can be stolen, confiscated.
Right.
Bitcoin, on the other hand, it's digital. You can store it securely, transfer it across borders very easily.
Makes sense. It's interesting. El Salvador actually made Bitcoin legal tender a while back. It seems like it's gaining traction in the real world.
Yeah, El Salvador was definitely a pioneer. Their move was bold. It sparked a lot of debate about Bitcoin's potential to really shake things up.
For sure. And even though there have been some bumps in the road, we're seeing more and more institutional interest.
Definitely. Major companies, even some governments, are exploring Bitcoin.
That's crazy to think about.
It is a decentralized digital currency, challenging the establishment. It's fascinating to watch.
It is. So let's shift gears a bit. Why are investors specifically drawn to Bitcoin? What are its advantages?
Well, first off, it's the original. It's the one that started it all. That kind of brand recognition is powerful. Plus, Bitcoin has the most secure blockchain.
Yeah, I've heard that it's super difficult to hack.
It is. It's incredibly robust thanks to its decentralized nature and all the computing power dedicated to securing it.
And isn't it also really easy to buy and sell?
Super easy. It has the highest liquidity of any cryptocurrency. You can convert it to cash or other assets without any hassle.
Gotcha. So security, liquidity, name recognition, anything else driving that institutional interest?
Yeah, the fact that so many big players are getting involved, hedge funds, publicly traded companies, it brings legitimacy to Bitcoin.
I see.
And potentially stabilizes its price in the long run.
Right, because it's still a relatively new asset class.
It is. Institutional adoption is seen as key for Bitcoin to really hit the mainstream.
So Bitcoin's secure, liquid, well-known, and attracting big investors. It sounds pretty promising.
It does, but no investment is without risk, right?
True. And Bitcoin is notoriously volatile.
Oh, yeah. Those price swings can be intense.
Definitely not for the faint of heart. Are there any other downsides to Bitcoin?
One concern is scalability. As the network grows, transactions can get slower and more expensive. It's like a traffic jam on the blockchain.
Ah, So even though it's designed to be efficient, it can get bogged down if too many people are using it.
Exactly. It's something developers are working on, but it's definitely a factor to consider.
And we can't forget about regulations. Governments are still figuring out what to do with crypto.
Right. The regulatory landscape is constantly evolving. Some governments are embracing crypto, while others are more cautious. This uncertainty can definitely impact how Bitcoin is used and traded.
So we've got revolutionary technology, potential for growth, but also volatility and regulatory hurdles.
It's a bit of a roller coaster.
It is. But we're not just here for Bitcoin, right? We got to talk about those altcoins.
Oh, yeah. The altcoin universe is vast. There are literally thousands of them out there.
Thousands. It's overwhelming.
It can be.
So before we jump in, let's define what we're talking about. What exactly is an altcoin?
Basically, it's any cryptocurrency that's not Bitcoin. Simple as that.
Okay, so anything other than Bitcoin.
Yep. And they each have their own purpose, their own technology, their own community.
So instead of just one cryptocurrency, there's this whole ecosystem of them.
Exactly. And it's a really diverse ecosystem. You've got stable coins like Tether and USD Coin, which are pegged to fiat currencies like the US dollar.
So they offer a bit more stability, which makes sense in such a volatile market.
Yeah, they're a good option for people who want to avoid the big price swings.
Okay, what else is out there?
You've got platform coins like Ethereum. These are powerhouses. They power decentralized applications, dApps, and smart contracts.
Wait, so you can build apps on top of these platforms? Like in the crypto world?
Yep. Think decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, where users can trade crypto directly with each other.
So cutting out the middleman, the traditional stock exchange.
Exactly. Or Oracle networks like Chainlink, which bring real-world data onto the blockchain.
Wow, it's like building a whole new financial system.
That's the idea. Then you have privacy coins like Monero and Zcash. These focus on anonymity, making transactions hard to trace.
I can see how that'd be appealing to some, especially with privacy becoming such a big concern.
Definitely. Then we have the more lighthearted side of things, meme coins. These are coins based on, well, memes.
Like Dogecoin.
Exactly. Dogecoin, Shiba Inu. They started as jokes, but they've gained a ton of popularity.
And value.
And value. It shows the power of online communities and trends in the crypto space.
It's wild. Okay, so we've got serious financial innovation and meme culture all mixed together.
That's the crypto world for you.
It is. And then there's DeFi, decentralized finance.
Oh, yeah. DeFi is huge. It's all about accessing financial services like lending, borrowing, trading, but without banks or other traditional institutions.
So cutting out the middleman again.
Yep. It's all about disruption and innovation.
It is. So with all that being said, why would someone choose altcoins over Bitcoin?
Well, one reason is the potential for higher returns. A lot of altcoins are still early in their development.
So like investing in a tech startup, but riskier.
Exactly. But with higher risk comes higher potential reward. If the altcoin takes off, its value could skyrocket.
I can see the appeal. But how can we tell which altcoins are worth investing in? There are so many of them.
Research, research, research. Don't just buy into the hype. Look into the team behind the project.
So their experience, their track record.
Right, and really evaluate the technology itself. Does it offer something new? Does it solve a real problem in the market?
It's like evaluating any other investment.
Mm.
Solid team, innovative product, market need.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of community. A strong, active community can be a good indicator of an altcoin's potential.
Yeah, a passionate user base can make a big difference.
It's a vote of confidence from the people who are actually using it.
Makes sense.
Mm.
But we got to be real. Altcoins are much more volatile than Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And there's less regulatory oversight.
So higher risk of scams and manipulation.
Unfortunately, yes. You really need to be careful. And a lot of altcoins operate on smaller, less secure networks than Bitcoin.
So volatility, security risks, and a lot of hype to sift through. Thorough research is key.
Absolutely. You need to really understand what you're investing in.
All right, we've covered a lot here, from Bitcoin's origins as digital gold to the sheer variety of altcoins.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. So how can we use all this info to decide where to invest?
Well, first, think about your risk tolerance. If you're risk averse, Bitcoin might be the better choice.
Makes sense. Altcoins are more for those who are comfortable with higher volatility.
Right. And it's always smart to diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Whether it's the Bitcoin basket or the altcoin basket,
Right.
spread that risk.
And stay informed about market trends. Things change fast in the crypto world.
New altcoins popping up all the
All
time.
the time.
So research, diversify, and stay up to date.
That's the recipe for success in crypto.
Sounds good to me. But we've only just scratched the surface of this world.
Oh, yeah, we've got a lot more to discuss.
We do. So let's take a moment to digest all this info, and when we come back, we'll delve even deeper into the factors you need to consider when choosing between Bitcoin and altcoins.
All right. Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
We too.
Yep.
All right, welcome back to our crypto deep dive. Before the break, we really got into the differences between Bitcoin and all those altcoins out there.
Yeah. Laid some groundwork.
Yeah, for sure. But now, how do we actually use all this info?
Mm.
Like, how can someone listening make a good decision about where to invest?
Right, right. Well, one thing we haven't really talked about yet is utility. Yeah, like what problem is a cryptocurrency actually trying to solve? Does it have real world uses? And if so, are they actually making an impact? It's not just about, potential profit.
Right, makes sense.
Prof.
Looking beyond the hype.
Exactly. We touched on Bitcoin as that digital gold, but altcoins can have a much wider range of uses.
For sure. Like when we talked about Ethereum and its smart contracts.
Yeah, those are game changers. Automating agreements, transactions, making everything more efficient and secure. It could revolutionize a lot of industries.
We talked about decentralized exchanges like Uniswap and Oracle networks like Chainlink. Can you remind us how those are actually disrupting things?
Absolutely. So decentralized exchanges, they cut out the middleman entirely. You can trade crypto directly with other people, lower fees, more transparency.
Yeah.
Chainlink is all about bringing real-world data onto the blockchain, which opens up all sorts of possibilities for decentralized applications.
Right, like we were saying before, building a whole new financial system.
Yeah.
But how do we know which of these altcoins are actually going to make it? There are thousands out there claiming to change the world.
It's tough. That's where research comes in. Look at the team behind the project, their background, what they've done before.
So experience matters, like any other investment.
For sure. And dig into the tech. Is it actually innovative? Does it give them an edge?
Right, not all innovation is created equal.
Definitely not. Some are just small improvements, while others are truly groundbreaking.
So team, tech, and what else?
Community. Don't underestimate how important that is. A strong, active community can be a really good sign.
It shows people believe in the project.
Yeah, they're using it, supporting it. That can drive adoption, especially for newer altcoins.
Like a vote of confidence.
Exactly.
Okay, so risk tolerance, diversification, staying up to date, use cases, community. But there's this big thing we haven't fully addressed: regulation. Governments are still trying to figure out how to handle this whole crypto thing.
That's a big one.
And that uncertainty, it can be risky, but maybe also create opportunities.
Definitely both. It has a huge impact on the market, both good and bad. Some governments are all in encouraging innovation and investment,
Right.
while others are way more cautious, putting up roadblocks, even banning things outright.
Yeah, we've got El Salvador going all in with Bitcoin as legal tender,
Yeah.
and then others are experimenting with their own digital currencies, CBDCs.
It's a mixed bag out there.
Totally.
Mm.
And this uncertainty can really make prices jump around.
Oh, absolutely. It can affect which cryptocurrencies are even available in certain places, even influence what new projects get developed.
It's a lot to keep up with.
It is. But it's crucial to stay informed about the regulatory stuff, both in your own country and globally.
Right, so add that to the list. But this is especially important for altcoins.
Oh, for sure. Bitcoin have gotten a bit more clarity in some places, but most altcoins are still in this gray area.
So it's even riskier.
Yeah, regulatory changes can totally tank their value, even make them illegal.
So due diligence is super important here.
It is. Look for projects that are working with regulators, trying to be compliant. Transparency is key.
Makes sense.
Avoid anything that's super secretive or in places with loose regulations.
Right, red flags.
Yeah, they're more likely to get hit with a crackdown. Remember, regulatory clarity, even though it might seem limiting, can actually lead to more stability and help crypto go mainstream.
It's a balance, isn't it? Between innovation and making sure things are done responsibly.
It is. It's a conversation that needs to keep happening between the innovators, the regulators, and the whole community.
And that conversation will shape the future of crypto.
Absolutely.
We've covered so much in this deep dive, from Bitcoin as digital gold to all those amazing altcoins and their potential.
And the risks.
Yes, the risks, and how important research is and diversification and staying informed. But beyond the investing part, there's a bigger question here. What do you think the future holds for Bitcoin and altcoins? Will Bitcoin stay on top, or will those altcoins take over?
That's the million-dollar question. It's something everyone's trying to figure out. Some people think Bitcoin will always be the king, the digital gold standard that everything else is measured against.
It's been pretty resilient so far.
It has. But others think that altcoins, with all their different uses and new tech, they're the ones that will eventually win out.
Right. They argue that Bitcoin is too slow, too focused on just being a store of value.
Exactly. They think altcoins are the ones that will actually meet the needs of our increasingly digital world.
And we've seen platforms like Ethereum really take off, creating all sorts of new applications and financial services.
Yeah, and the innovation isn't slowing down. New projects are popping up all the time, pushing the limits of blockchain tech.
Totally. It's not just about tech, though, right?
No, the community is changing too. We're
I know.
seeing things like DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations.
NVOs.
Yeah, basically groups that are governed by the community, making decisions collectively.
That's wild. Taking decentralization to a whole new level.
It is. It shows that crypto could not only disrupt finance, but also change how we organize and govern ourselves.
So the future of crypto, it's uncertain, but super exciting.
Exactly. It's a space where anything is possible. It's constantly evolving, pushing boundaries. It's fascinating.
The next few years are going to be huge, I think. Will things consolidate around a few big players? Or will we keep seeing this explosion of new ideas?
I think we'll see both. Some consolidation is inevitable. As the market matures, the strongest projects will rise to the top.
Survival of the fittest.
Exactly. But we'll also keep seeing new innovations, challenging the status quo, pushing the limits.
Because anyone can participate.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Anyone with a good idea and the skills can create something new.
So for our listeners, the takeaway is to stay curious, stay informed, and get ready for a wild ride.
Absolutely. Crypto is a constantly moving target. The best way to approach it is with an open mind, a little skepticism, and a willingness to learn.
Well said. Let's take another quick break and let all this sink in. When we come back, we'll wrap up our deep dive with some final thoughts and takeaways. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. So we've really gone deep into this world of crypto investing. A lot to unpack, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
But let's try to make this as actionable as possible. Like, what can our listeners actually do with all this info?
Right, good point. We've talked about so much, it's easy to get lost in the weeds.
Totally. So we started with Bitcoin, that potential digital gold, talk about its pros and cons.
Right, the limited supply, decentralization, that whole thing.
Exactly. And then we moved into the altcoin universe, all those projects with all sorts of different uses and features.
And the importance of really digging in and doing your research.
For sure. You got to know what you're invested in, right?
Absolutely. And we can't forget about regulation. That's a huge factor. That's always changing.
It's a lot to keep in mind, that's for sure.
It is.
But let's recap some key takeaways here. Bitcoin, the OG, often called digital gold, right?
Yep. Because of that limited supply, decentralization, its potential to be a hedge against inflation. Plus, it's got that first mover advantage, that name recognition, the super secure blockchain.
And it's easy to buy and sell, very liquid.
Right.
But we also got to remember those limitations, the scalability stuff, the fact that it can be really volatile.
Definitely important to keep in mind.
Then we jumped into the altcoin world, all those projects out there.
Oh, yeah. So much variety.
It's crazy. Decentralized applications, DeFi, even those meme coins.
Yeah, it's wild out there. But the main thing is, don't just buy into the hype. Do your homework.
Yeah.
Look at the team, the tech, what problems they're trying to solve.
Exactly. And remember the community. A strong community can be a really positive sign.
It can. And of course, always be aware of the regulatory landscape, how things are changing, what governments are doing.
Transparency is key, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so as we look ahead, the big question is Bitcoin or altcoins. Which one will come out on top?
Tough to say.
Right. Some people think Bitcoin will always be king, the gold standard for crypto.
Yeah, that's a common view.
But others think altcoins, with all their different uses and potential, they're the future.
The disruptors.
Exactly. Only time will tell.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It is. But one thing is for sure, crypto, it's still a pretty new asset class. It comes with risks.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So don't go all in because of FOMO.
Right. Definitely not.
Take your time, do your research, invest responsibly.
Good advice.
And remember, this world is always changing. Got to keep learning.
Lifelong learning, that's the key, for sure.
So to everyone listening, keep exploring this space. It's fascinating. It's constantly evolving. Who knows what amazing things are coming next?
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
They really are.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Hope you learned a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And until next time, happy investing, everyone.